You may be familiar with a typical veteran, the people you see in the grocery store or your next door neighbor. What you don't realize are the people standing on the street holding the cardboard signs are veterans as well, and they're not holding these signs because they want to get an extra dollar. They are literally holding the last shred of their identity. Despite what veterans have done for our country, many of them suffer from mental illness and have a hard time claiming their benefits. Both these things can result in homelessness, and as a country, it is important to recognize this problem and create a solution.
There are a lot of benefits that veterans could potentially receive, such as long-term health care, mortgage help, or life insurance. But if you want one of those, you have to work individually for that one. They are not just handed out on a silver platter, and just because you're in the military doesn't make you automatically eligible. The government has no exact set definition for the word veteran. Therefore, the requirements for certain benefits vary from one to the next. Some require that you serve a minimum amount of time versus others you could just walk in the door and potentially get your benefits. Once a veteran files for those benefits, there is a significant amount of wait time. The average time for an Iraq or Afghanistan veteran is between 316 to 327 days. That's practically a whole year. Those filing for the first time in big cities wait twice as long. That's 642 days in New York and 619 days in Los Angeles. With a wait time of almost 2 years, it's not surprising that there is approximately 22 veteran suicides per day. So, in conclusion, there are a lot of benefits that veterans could receive, but it's that huge gap of time from 1 to 2 years that is causing a lot of veterans to unnecessarily suffer.
Another challenge that many of these veterans face coming home is post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. This often occurs when veterans face horrible things in the battlefield, such as seeing their fellow comrades die, or maybe just something as simple as the loud gunfire. Here's a stat for you. 22 suicides occur every day in the United States from veterans, and the major contributing factor to this is PTSD. There are 4 major symptoms that come along with PTSD. The first symptom of PTSD is reliving. In this occurrence, veterans have flashbacks of the horrible things that they saw on the battlefield, and it's hard for them to escape these feelings. They see them throughout their entire lives and sometimes are never able to shake them off. The second symptom that comes with PTSD is avoiding reminders. Veterans may try to avoid people or situations that could remind them of the horrific experiences that they went through. They often refuse to talk about these horrific experiences, keeping these bottled up emotions, which can lead to very unhealthy behavior. A lot of them also refuse to seek professional help. The third symptom of PTSD is feeling numb. In this case, the veteran may find it difficult expressing feelings to their loved ones. This can lead to negative relationships with their loved ones and can often cause veterans to not enjoy activities previously enjoyed before the trauma. The fourth and final symptom of PTSD is hyperarousal. Hyperarousal causes veterans often to be very uneasy, constantly on the lookout for potential dangers that aren't really in existence. What also goes with hyperarousal is sudden anger and difficulty sleeping at night, as well as employment problems, and possibly the veteran may fall into drinking and drug problems as well.
I feel like something that can help veterans as they come back is a smoother transition from the military to the civilian sector, regardless of if they're medically discharged or if they choose to leave service. Just to have a support system continuously, so not necessarily just cutting them off, but as they leave the service, as they go through the hospitals or just to their own place, they have a support system, someone who's checking on them to make sure that they find a support system so that they're continuously helped, so they don't feel alone.
Sadly, homelessness among veterans is a problem in our country. According to the National Coalition of Homeless Veterans, 12% of America's homeless population is made up of veterans. These veterans have served in wars such as World War II, Afghanistan, the Vietnam War, and many others. Sadly, many of them suffer from mental illness, substance and alcohol abuse, or a combination of both. This is often the result of serving in battle, and our country doesn't provide enough of the necessary resources to combat these issues. Madelyn had the opportunity to meet with a homeless veteran in San Diego. Gunnery Sergeant Thomas Elliott Kiley served in the First Gulf War as well as Grenada as a Marine. Now, at 53 and homeless, his life isn't where he imagined it would be today. As you can see, these homeless veterans are just like everyone else, and it's important that as Americans, we thank them by providing them the resources they need.
Veterans have sacrificed their lives for us. The U.S. government should show appreciation for their soldiers and readily repay them for their service through more accessible and quicker benefits, so that they can receive help battling PTSD and other mental illnesses, as well as staying off the streets. This will help them to regain their status as fully integrated citizens into our country.